The question always comes, especially for people that believe in creation and things of that sort. What about the dinosaurs that were here before human beings? Do we even believe in dinosaurs? What about the disgusting little creatures and critters? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create them? And what do we have to say about them? First of all, the most beneficial aspect when you're speaking about the creation of the animals is that which relates to us. And what that means is, Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala said, Allah created us as human beings between the angels and the animals. That when we come into existence as human beings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already created the scene, it's already there. Allah Azza wa Jal also says in the Quran, in Surah Luqman, that He created the skies, the heavens without pillars that you see. And He's cast into this earth firmly set mountains so that it keeps it stable. And He spread throughout this earth all types of creatures. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually makes that clear in the Quran as well. Means beasts, means any type of creature that you can imagine. And so we know that before we got to this earth, there were, all kinds of dinosaurs, beasts, and that's one of the crimes of the jinn, is that they didn't treat them well, as we spoke about previously. And you had roaches as well, and some of those disgusting little critters that existed. Actually, even before the dinosaurs, scientifically, they think that roaches existed millions of years before the dinosaurs. And so you ask yourself, why? All right, so if we establish that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put them there before us, and that there's benefit to them, why do we have roaches? Why do we have rats? Why do we have all these disgusting little creatures?
As per the research, dinosaurs got extinct when a massive comet or asteroid hit Earth. Upon impact, the smoke and dust covered the entire globe. The comet itself didn't hit the dinosaurs, but rather it was the smoke and dust that blocked sunlight, which in turn triggered a series of catastrophic events.
The dinosaurs were reptiles that lived millions of years ago. The word dinosaur is derived from two Greek words meaning terrible lizard. However, the dinosaurs were not really lizards, although the size of some of them was terrifying. The largest dinosaur was the biggest animal that ever lived on dry land, with a weight that was many times that of a fully grown elephant. There are a very few types of whales that grow to a size bigger than these dinosaurs. The first dinosaurs appeared on Earth 220 million years ago. These creatures dominated dry land for approximately 150 million years and lived on most continents on Earth and in various environments, such as swamps and flat plains. They became extinct suddenly 63 million years ago.
Okay, so you find that when a bird is alive, and subhanAllah, things change, circumstances change. When a bird is alive, it feasts on ants, it eats ants. When the bird dies, the ants eat the bird, right? So these animals and these creatures are sustenance for one another, they're rizq for one another, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has it in perfect balance in the world. Now the simple answer to that is that Allah made all of these animals as a form of rizq for you, as a form of sustenance for you, and He made them a form of sustenance for each other. And He made the insects sustenance for them. And there are things that are even beyond our understanding. So when it comes to the roaches, their most powerful role in the ecosystem, of course, is decomposing. And we don't really see that, but they pick up dirt. There would be a lot more dirt in the world without them. They eat rotten foods and they eat decaying material. And through their waste, it's put back into the soil and it's made beneficial and bacteria is cleared and so on and so forth. Meaning, subhanAllah, that even those things that to us are simple, are nuisances, there is a purpose. They play a greater role in this balance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. Al-Mizan, the way that He's made everything just and balanced in His creation. There is a role for everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't create a single insect, a single animal without purpose. Color spectrum even, that there are some animals that subhanAllah, it's not even the distance of sight. When they look at something, our color spectrum is far more limited than them, meaning they're able to see light and they're able to see different colors that we wouldn't even know existed, even though they'd be looking at the same surface. And subhanAllah, we find that the animals actually see things that we are incapable of seeing. And the reason why I bring that up is that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that they are able to see things of al-ghayb, of the unseen, that as human beings we're not able to see. And the Prophet ﷺ gives us something beneficial in that regard. He says, ﷺ, that when you see the crowing of a rooster, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His blessings, because that rooster has seen an angel. And the Prophet ﷺ said, when you hear the braying of a donkey, then ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for refuge, because the donkey has seen a devil. So subhanAllah, these animals, even from their noises, there's a blessing for us. One of the times of accepted dua is the time when a rooster crows, because the Prophet ﷺ says that it's seen an angel, it's seen a light source that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, that we are incapable of seeing.
Everything that God has created is mentioned in the Quran. In fact, in the Quran, God says He creates that which you don't know. Meaning there are things out there in the world which exist, which are not mentioned in the Quran, which we do not even know about. So the existence of Homo erectus or Homo naledi or Denisovans or any of these Neanderthal species, none of these things undermines the Quranic narrative.
There is nothing in the texts of the Quran or Sunnah to confirm or deny the existence of these creatures. In the Holy Quran, there are some verses which some scholars have understood to mean that there were creatures that existed on earth before Adam.
No point in life where we should stop caring about the animals, where it becomes an either-or thing. Islam teaches us that, the earth will testify for us or against us. What about the animals? And of course, what that means is we should be even more kind and considerate towards human beings and things of that sort. Scientifically, taking care of certain breeds, brings a sense of compassion. It nurtures compassion in a human being. Cat owners tend to be more sensitive and compassionate. And Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said, we find ourselves in between. And what that means is if we incline towards our desires more, our unrestricted desires more, then we become like animals. And if we incline towards worship and reason, then we become like the angels.
Islam does not deny that these creatures existed or that they were of this great size, but the fact remains that when they speak of their lifespans and the details of their forms and lives, this is the field of science and speculation combined.
And so you have angels that have absolutely no desire, no will. Their sole purpose is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their sole existence is just to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so they're free from those desires. And then you have on the other side, the animals, on the far end of the other spectrum, the animals who don't have those, who don't have reasoning and don't worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way that the angels do. And they're just full of desires, unrestricted desires. And so it's important for us to find ourselves in that spectrum. Where do we fall? Do we fall towards the soul that is at peace, the nafs that is at peace, the nafs al-mutma'inna, or a nafs al-bahima, the animal-like self, which is just territorial, desires intimacy and food and drink and so on and so forth. And in fact, as human beings, we have the potential to be better than the angels, as we'll talk about, when we choose to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and when we choose to use our reason and our intellect. And we have the potential to be worse than animals, because the animals are not held accountable because of the missing reasoning and things of that sort.